Okay, thank you everybody for joining us today. I'm Professor Constance Case in the Department of Theater Dance at Westchester University, and today we are talking with Christopher Moreno, who is a graduate from 2016 and a former student of mine, and also works now at Westchester.
Thank you, thank you. First off, thank you, Constance, for doing this. When they asked me for one of my favorite professors, right away I thought of you just because of your amazing personality and caring for all of the students that you've taught. And thank you, Kelsey, for setting this up. We're super excited. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. If we have time towards the end, we'll take some questions from the audience.
Sounds great. All right, so let's start with a real easy question. What was your major when you were here at Westchester?
So my major at Westchester was communication studies, and then I also had a minor in theater arts.
And how did we get there? I know you had a little circumlocucious route to get to that, and I too did the same. I transferred and changed my major a million times. So tell me how you got there.
Yeah, so before our call, Constance and I were actually talking. So originally, right out of high school, applied to many colleges, and then I didn't end up picking a college towards the deadline, and my parents signed the little waiver and sent it right into another state school. So no looking back from there. And then I went there for my first year. And they chose that university because it was closest to the Lehigh Valley, Allentown area. And there I really didn't like my experience there. I went in not knowing too many people. The first semester was rough. I think it's important to talk about kind of those struggles until you can kind of see the peaks and valleys. And then from there, I joined the club volleyball team at Kutztown. And then we came to a volleyball tournament actually at Westchester. And as soon as I got on campus, I fell in love. I was like, what is this place? I've never heard of Westchester before. I didn't visit the campus after. I didn't do like an official tour or anything. I went back to the other state school. Immediately was emailing everyone saying, what is the process? Can I do my transfer application? I just knew that Westchester was the place. So then that's my journey kind of to Westchester. And then going through that, I was undecided out of high school. For my major, I changed my mind a million times. I wanted to be an elementary ed teacher for a hot second.
Me too.
And then quickly changed my mind. And then I stumbled on communication studies. And then I took some theater classes, and then kind of fell in love with that. And once communication studies came around, I was like, this is definitely the major that I want to do. It has kind of that creative aspect and organization, and you could do so much with communication studies and theater arts that it's kind of a broad spectrum. But yeah, once I stumbled upon communication studies, I knew right away.
Do you remember when you came to Westchester for your volleyball thing and you were like, this is the place for me. This is it. This feels right. Do you remember what it was about it? Like, was there something specific? Was it the people? Was it the atmosphere? What made you go, no, this is it? Because at that point you didn't have a major, so you couldn't be like, it's a good fit for me major wise, unless that was part of your decision.
Mm-hmm. So definitely the atmosphere and the people, like you said, coming from the other state school, it was kind of in the middle of nowhere. So there was like not much going on. And that's kind of all I knew from the college experience. And then I came to Westchester and I was like, wow, there's like a town, there's stuff to do. The campus was beautiful. It was just a huge, drastic difference. But like I said, as soon as I stepped on campus, I was like, I need to come here. Like, it just felt right.
Yeah, good. I love that. I think that's really important actually for prospective students. And we say that all the time in the Department of Theater and Dance. We're like, just come to campus. Like you'll know right away. As soon as you come, you'll know when you meet the professors, when you see, you'll be like, yeah, this is for me or it's not, right? I say that all the time. Okay, let's see, what else do we have? So talked about that. Oh yeah, what do you love most about Westchester University?
Um, Definitely the town. Like I said before, at the other state school, there wasn't much going on. Um, and I love just the town of Westchester. There's so much to do, and it's in such close proximity that transferring over or first year students, like if you don't have a car or
Yeah,
access to transportation, it's literally like a 5 minute walk into town. Um, there's so many great restaurants, so many great things to do. The city is always having events. The Christmas parades are amazing. I'm a huge Christmas fan, so um, just the whole town and everything will really just kind of seal the deal.
yeah, awesome. Okay, let's see. So, oh yeah, what clubs and stuff did you do? Because with a theater minor, I'm sure you did theater.
Mhm.
What else did you do?
So on the theater side, I quickly learned. So in high school, I didn't do much of theater. I did like band and orchestra and jazz band. But I quickly
Yeah.
realized I played, well, I started off with percussion
Okay.
in third grade. And then I moved to learning the saxophone and the clarinet.
Is that all?
So yeah, I definitely enjoyed music in high school. I kind of wish I continued it in college because the Westchester band is amazing. Um, I'm not too sure why I didn't.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I definitely love music. But in theater, I quickly learned that I liked the back end kind of more. So like the set design, the costumes, lighting, sound design. Um, I think I took an acting class and I just didn't think it was for me. I never wanted to kind of be like the center focus, but all of kind of like the creativeness and of it all is kind of what I enjoyed the most.
Can you talk about one of those experiences? Like if you were light board op or whatever, like what did you do? And then we can talk about what you learned from that.
So I definitely liked the costume construction aspect. So that's the class that we took together. And it was personal because my mom went to design school. And then, so before I started the costume construction class, I never threaded a sewing machine. I never hand sewed, nothing. But it kind of came natural to me.
Yep.
And then I know like a week after we were making like little baby pants in classes and learning different stitches and how to put buttons on and zippers and everything. Um, so that's what I enjoyed the most. It was definitely a learning curve, if you may. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed that the most.
Do you have your little best friend you want to show?
I do. So I was telling Constance before. So this was our final project in our costume construction class. So it was this fun little book, if you guys can see. So then we learned how to put a button. We had button with a shaft. We had snaps, hooks, and eyes. And then throughout the whole book is different stitches, hemming stitch, herringbone stitch, which is really pretty.
That's my
Um,
favorite. Herringbone's my favorite.
it is. And then just like zippers and everything. And let me tell you, this just learning that stuff has saved me so many times. I was recently at a friend's wedding. We actually met at Westchester and she recently got married. Um, and my suit jacket, the button was like flimsy. It was gonna come off eventually. And then I remember I was leaving the hotel to go to the wedding. And the button fell off and I was like, what am I gonna do? But luckily, we learned I didn't have my button thread, but I doubled up my regular thread and quickly put the button right back on and it was seamless, but
Haha,
definitely
seamless.
and even just like hemming stuff. And it's just such important things that I think everyone should know.
Yeah.
But if I didn't take that costume construction class, I would have been lost.
I love teaching that class. And one of the reasons I like it is because you might take another class, like, I don't know, philosophy or something. And what you do is a lot of thinking and writing, and you turn in a paper and then you wait for the next thing. And in this, you get to see this product. You have a three-dimensional object, and you can wear it. You can, like your pants, you can wear them. You can carry around your stitch book for your whole life because people do like them. And like you can actually see the fruit of your labor, which is, something that I didn't even tell the audience, like, you're an artist. That's one of the things, that's one of your characteristics. You're an artist and you're creative. And this is just another way for you to show your creativity. So what can we say you learned in the class besides skills?
Definitely to be patient. So like I said, there was definitely a learning curve. With a lot of things that I do, I kind of want to be perfect in it. I remember when we used to thread the sewing machines.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it wouldn't be so tedious, but I remember the first couple times it would take me forever to thread the machine. And then you would get all the way through. And then, so for anyone who hasn't threaded a machine, you would think that it's just like, okay, boom, boom, done. But you kind of have to go over the bobbin, up and down through it. And then the last part, you have to put the thread through the needle, which was always the part that got me. But learning patience and learning that you are gonna get it. And but yeah, you learn so much that in that class.
Hopefully a little collaboration too. We try really hard to create a place where people are supportive of each other and not like, oh my gosh, Chris, I can't believe you didn't thread that machine again. Instead of like, let's do it again together,
Yes.
Hopefully that was in there. What about another favorite class? What else did you like? Did you have a comm class you liked, or
So I would say communicating on television and radio was super fun. So in that class, we were filming our own videos, we were editing, we did radio spots, we did a mock Campbell's tomato soup commercial. I remember, oddly enough, during the Campbell's tomato soup commercial, I was coming down with like a sickness or some cold. So my voice was like very raspy, but it kind of went with the whole thing. But that class was super fun.
you like, get yourself some Campbell soup?
Yes, it was very much that.
Sexy Campbell soup head.
Filming, and then we also did like different weather reports that they put up on social media and the website. So that class was a lot of fun as well.
What was the name of that one again?
Communicating on television and radio.
Cool. Just in case anybody out there's like, I got to take that class.
Yes.
Yeah.
With Dr. Thompson. I think he's still teaching as well.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, that was definitely a fun class, kind of taking the creative side, and they would let you have creative control if you wanted to do, this or that. And
yeah,
it was really fun.
All right, let's talk about what clubs you did while you were here. What kind of extracurriculars?
So I was a part of Student Activities Council.
And what is that? What do they do?
So they plan events on campus. So they plan Banana Day, all the events in Sykes. They've evolved after I was on exec board. So I was on the exec board for my junior and senior year. My junior year, I was the event promotions coordinator. And then senior year, I was the monthly events coordinator.
Oh, yeah. How about some advice to current students?
Yes. So my advice, so transferring over my first year, I remember coming to Westchester and I didn't know anybody coming into it. So where I grew up, it's about an hour and 15 minutes away. So I think there was one other girl from my high school who came to Westchester, and she was a commuter. So I came in not knowing anyone, which is very intimidating.
And as a transfer, sometimes it's a little bit more challenging. I also transferred, as you know, and it's a little more, it's just a little bit harder. It's not harder, but it's just a little bit like, okay, everybody's got these groups of first years and now you're a little bit different. I have a little soft spot for transfers.
Yes. So I remember my first day, moved all my stuff in, and then my parents kind of drove away, and then you're sitting there by yourself and you're like, okay, what do I do now? Like, I don't really know anybody. So I remember that first night on South Campus, I lived on South Campus. They had kind of like a mix and mingle for different transfer students. And I remember going back and forth. I was like, I don't want to go by myself. Like, I don't want to be that person just sitting there. Like, I was super, super nervous.
Yeah.
And I was just going back and forth, back and forth. And then I finally mustered up the courage and was like, hey, let me just go check it out and see what it is. And then so we went down to the mix and mingle. I sat down and almost immediately more people kind of sat down and we were all in the same boat. And then we started talking, chatting. And then after that, we went to one of the girls' apartments and literally hung out that whole semester. So my advice for people is go outside of the box. It might be uncomfortable to attend some events or anything, but just you got to put yourself out there. Going to different events, or even if you might be interested in a student organization, they have like general assembly meetings that you can go to check it out. But yeah, definitely put yourself out there, because if I didn't go to that first mix and mingle event, my experience at Westchester could have been completely different. I wouldn't have been able to make kind of long lasting friendships that with people that I still talk to today. Like I mentioned, we just went to one of my good friends from Westchester's wedding. She just got married recently. And like, if I didn't put myself out there in an uncomfortable situation, I would have never met these people.
Yeah, and these lifetime friendships were formed. Yeah,
Yes.
I always say you can leave, right? Go. If it's not your vibe, you just leave. But you got to get there first to figure out if it's your vibe. Sitting in your room is not good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely good advice, especially for first year and transfer students, because like I said, you're coming into it not knowing a lot of people and just remembering that everyone's in the same boat. I think when I was here, I kind of didn't realize that, but
Yeah.
everyone's in the same boat. No one, there's a lot of people who don't know other people, and then finding other people who have similar interests, and then kind of starting the relationship from there.
Did they have the activities fair when you were here?
They did.
Yeah, because that is, to me, that's incredible. The first time I went to that, I was blown away by the number of clubs and resources and business clubs, and it to me it just blew my mind that there was so much. But then I remember that with there's 17,000 students, right? You're gonna find people you like and people who are like your people, right? If you look.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you said too, there's so many clubs. I think actually when I was here, they had it in the Sykes ballrooms. But I think
Oh,
since there's been so many more clubs to come about, that they have to do it outside on the quad now, because there's so many more different groups and organizations. And like you said, there's a group and organization for everyone. And finding, like-minded people and kind of going from there.
yeah, there's a stitched together club that does like handcraft and sewing and everything. They did some cool stuff for one of my exhibits. It was really nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, let's see if anybody has any questions. Anybody out there want to type in the chat or in the Q&A if you have a question for Chris or for me? Let's see if anybody's Q&A. They're healthy. Oh, yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about the behind the scenes aspects of theater? Like, what can you learn by doing theater? Well, what can't you learn by doing theater is mine.
There's definitely that so much that goes into the theater side. Again, that if you don't know, you don't kind of realize that you're, as an audience member, you're sitting there enjoying the show, but you don't know like the music that goes into it, the lighting, costumes, obviously. I think people, when they see a show, that they don't automatically think of those things. And all of those things kind of mesh together and kind of portray the story as well, on top of the acting. But learning so much. And I took kind of a wide array of classes in the theater realm. I took the costume construction, acting. I took a lighting design class, a sound design class. Like there's so much that goes into it, that outside looking in that you wouldn't kind of be aware of.
Do you feel like anything you learned there you're using in your everyday day-to-day job now? Nope.
I'm thinking.
No, I'm teasing you. No, nothing. I mean, it's a visual art form, and you're also doing a visual art form.
Yes. I think just the ability to adapt, because especially with shows, things can happen. It's a live show, so you kind of have to adapt and keep kind of moving the ball along. You can't stop the whole production to be like, we need to fix this. And kind of thinking on your toes and in heightened situations. But yeah, definitely helping with that.
Perfect. I was thinking about collaboration, but adaptability is like, that's key. And you're right. Something goes wrong, you got to fix it. There's no stopping and like, oh, could you redo that line? Or I got to redo my cue or whatever.
Do you have any fun stories of anything kind of going array in your?
One time in grad school, we were doing Working, the Studs Terkel musical, and one of the characters' wigs fell off. And the audience became like so involved, and they were so excited because it was something that hadn't happened to anybody else, and it became this like interactive moment, and the jokes about the wigs, and then the actor was ad-libbing, and it was really great, because it could have been like, oh, disastrous, but instead the audience was like, yay, we saw something nobody else got to see. And so there's that one. Then there's the time that the production team has to talk to each other. So the designer, this was before Zoom, like this was ages ago. The designer for the set lived in New York, and I lived in the Lehigh Valley. And this was for Into the Woods. I made these dresses that were these giant poofy petticoats, right? Like fairy tale princess. And the set designer made doors that were like, I don't know, 30 inches wide. So you can imagine that did not go well. They would squeeze their skirts together, walk through the door, and then poof, like it was pretty funny. Nice. We ended up using it, but it was, it taught you why collaboration is important and why you have to discuss things.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know, Kelsey, I don't see any questions from anybody. We put them all to sleep.
Yeah, if anyone has any other questions they want to add, feel free to do so now. If not, we can wrap things up.
Yeah. Don't look like anybody has any pressing questions. Oh, here we go. Charming stories. You're welcome. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah.
Okay, if nobody has anything else, did you have anything else you wanted to share, Chris? Anything that we didn't cover that you think is important?
I don't think so. I think we touched base on everything.
Yeah, we got a good idea, and we're very lucky to have you here. We're great. It's good, and hopefully I'll see you more on campus now.
Yes.
Wait, there might be another question in the Q&A. CHS and WCU is so lucky. Yep, that's what I just said. Kelly Smith and I are on the same page. Yep, Kelly Smith and I are on the same page. We're very lucky to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.